The ocean covers more than 70% of our planet. It is one of the largest environments on Earth, yet much of it remains difficult to explore. As we move deeper beneath the surface, sunlight gradually disappears, temperatures drop, pressure increases, and the conditions become increasingly difficult for humans and conventional equipment. But life continues to exist there. Some animals have developed enormous eyes to capture the little light available. Others produce their own light through bioluminescence. And many species living in the deep ocean are rarely seen by humans. This is what makes the deep sea so fascinating. We are not looking at an empty environment. We are looking at an ecosystem that has evolved almost completely beyond our everyday experience. There are also vast areas of the seafloor that remain poorly understood. Scientists continue to discover new species, geological formations, and previously unknown ecosystems. And perhaps the most interesting question is not whether something strange exists in the ocean. We already know that it does. The real question is, how much of it have we still not seen? Because when we look at the ocean from the surface, we are only seeing a very small part of the world beneath us. Exploring the deep ocean is not as simple as going deeper with a diving suit. At relatively shallow depths, sunlight can still reach the water. But beyond a certain point, the environment changes dramatically. The water becomes almost completely dark. Pressure increases with depth, and temperatures can approach freezing. For humans, these conditions are extremely dangerous. That is why much of deep-sea exploration is carried out using remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs. These machines can travel thousands of meters below the surface while transmitting live video and scientific data back to researchers. And what they find is often unexpected. The seafloor is not simply a flat, empty landscape. There are mountains, valleys, volcanic structures, deep trenches, and hydrothermal vents. Around some of these vents, scientists have discovered entire ecosystems that survive without sunlight. Instead of relying directly on photosynthesis, many organisms depend on chemosynthesis. Bacteria use chemicals released from the Earth's interior as an energy source. This discovery changed our understanding of where life can exist. It also raised an important possibility. If life can survive in such extreme environments on Earth, could similar ecosystems exist somewhere else in the solar system? Places such as Europa and Enceladus are believed to contain oceans beneath their icy surfaces. We have not yet confirmed life there, but the deep ocean on Earth has shown us something important. Life can survive in environments that once seemed impossible. And perhaps that is one of the reasons the deep ocean remains so difficult to understand. Every time we explore a little farther, we discover that the boundaries of life are wider than we previously thought. One of the most unusual things about the deep ocean is how different life can look there. Without sunlight, the environment changes completely. There are no forests, no fields, and almost no natural light. Yet life continues to thrive. Many deep-sea animals have developed remarkable adaptations to survive in these conditions. Some have extremely sensitive eyes that can detect very small amounts of light. Others have bodies that are almost transparent. And some have developed a completely different way of seeing in the darkness. They produce their own light. This is known as bioluminescence. Bioluminescence is produced through a chemical reaction inside an organism. In the deep ocean, this living light can serve several purposes. It can help an animal attract prey. It can confuse or deter a predator. And in some species, it may also be used to communicate. What looks strange to us is actually a highly effective survival strategy. Every feature has a purpose. Large eyes can help detect faint light. Transparent bodies can make an animal harder to see. And producing light can give an animal an advantage in an environment where almost everything is hidden by darkness. But there is still a lot we don't know. Scientists continue to discover animals living in the deep ocean, and many of their behaviors are difficult to observe. The problem is simple. The deeper we go, the harder these animals are to study. Bright lights can disturb them. Some are extremely fragile, and many live in places that are difficult to reach. So even today, the deep ocean contains animals that scientists are still trying to understand, not because they come from another world, but because they have evolved in a part of our own world that humans have only recently begun to explore. When we look at a map of the world, the oceans appear completely familiar, but most of what we see is only the surface. Beneath it is a landscape that is far more complex. There are underwater mountain ranges, deep trenches, volcanic formations, and enormous plains stretching across the seafloor. Some of these features are larger than anything we see on land, and yet, mapping the ocean floor in detail is extremely difficult. Satellites can provide a broad picture of the seafloor by measuring subtle variations in sea level. But for detailed maps, scientists often use sonar. Ships send sound waves toward the seafloor and measure how long they take to return. By repeating this process across large areas, researchers can gradually build detailed maps. The problem is scale. The ocean covers hundreds of millions of square kilometers. Surveying all of it at high resolution would require enormous amounts of time, equipment, and resources. This is why our knowledge of the ocean is still developing, and every new survey can reveal something that was previously hidden. A previously unknown mountain, a volcanic structure, a deep canyon, or an ecosystem existing in complete darkness. The ocean is not necessarily hiding something because it wants to remain hidden. It is simply vast, and our ability to explore it is still limited. That may be the most important fact to remember when we talk about the mysteries of the deep sea. We are not looking at a world that has already been fully explored. We are looking at a world that is still being mapped, still being observed, and still being discovered, which raises a simple question. If we have only begun to understand the environment covering most of our planet, what else might we learn when we finally explore it in greater detail? There is a reason humans rarely enter the deepest parts of the ocean. The deeper we go, the more hostile the environment becomes. Light disappears, temperatures fall, and pressure increases with every meter. At around 1,000 meters below the surface, the pressure is already enormous. A human body is simply not designed to withstand these conditions. This is why deep-sea exploration depends so heavily on technology. Remotely operated vehicles can descend thousands of meters below the surface while transmitting video and scientific data back to researchers on a ship. Some of these machines are built to withstand pressures hundreds of times greater than those at the surface. But even these machines have limits. Greater depth means greater engineering challenges. Cables become more difficult to manage. Communication becomes harder, and every expedition requires enormous amounts of planning. Yet these machines have allowed scientists to see places that humans could never reach safely on their own. And what makes this even more remarkable is how little of the deep ocean we have actually seen. The technology allows us to reach deeper than ever before, but the ocean remains far larger than our ability to explore it, and somewhere beyond the reach of our cameras, there are still places we have never seen. For centuries, the ocean has been a place of mystery, but today, we have submarines, satellites, sonar systems, and underwater robots. We can descend thousands of meters beneath the surface. We can map mountains hidden beneath the water. We can record animals that were once known only from fragments and stories. And yet, the ocean still has enormous unanswered questions. There are places we have never seen directly. There are animals we have never observed alive. And there are ecosystems we are only beginning to understand. The deeper we explore, the more we realize that the ocean is not simply a place we have failed to study. It is a world that is incredibly difficult to reach. Even with modern technology, exploration takes time, money, and enormous effort. and every expedition can reveal something unexpected.
A new species,
An unknown geological feature, a behavior that scientists have never recorded before, or simply a place that no human had ever seen. Perhaps that is what makes the deep ocean so fascinating. It does not need myths. It does not need monsters. The reality is already extraordinary. The ocean covers around 70% of our planet, yet much of what lies beneath its surface remains poorly understood. And as technology continues to improve, we will keep going deeper. Not to prove that something mysterious is hiding there, but to understand the world we already live in. Because the greatest mystery may not be what we will find in the deep. It may simply be how much of our own planet we have never truly seen.